Hello YouTubers, going to give you a quick short, hopefully, tutorial if I don't get too sidelined and go off on a tangent on the Use Somebody version that I've posted. It's another one in DADGAD tuning, and for me to sing it I like to do it with the capo on the 6th fret, but you can place the capo wherever sort of suits you with the vocalist you're using, or if you're singing it yourself, experiment with where works best for your vocal range. I've got some chords sort of written down, but I'll try and talk you through them as well, and try and be able to show you where my fingers are going on the fretboard with a slightly closer up video that I'll try and cut in. So it's Use Somebody by Kings of Leon, and I'm doing it in DADGAD tuning. So the first chord is D. I'll talk about the chord in terms of how it would sound without a capo, so I'm going to call this a D chord. In actual fact, it's a G sharp because I've got the capo on the 6th fret, but it's going to be easier to talk about, as we normally do with guitar chords, what the sort of open version of that chord shape is, and then you just apply your capo to change the tune. So start off with a D, and for that I've got my second finger on the 4th fret on the D string, and my first finger on the 2nd fret there. So that should be fairly straightforward. It's a very standard chord in the world of DADGAD tuning, and it's got a really nice sound to it. Chord number 2, I don't actually know what this chord is. I've called it, consulting my chord sheet here, a D major 7 with an F sharp in the bass. And it's quite similar to the D, so what is important is to get that third of the chord in there on that D string. So I'm starting off with a D, and then I'm moving my 3rd and 4th fingers to the 4th fret of the E string and the A string, and keeping my first finger on there. So it's moving from this shape to this shape. And it's got this really nice little dissonance on notes next to each other, sort of outside the chord in a way, and that's why I'm not sure what technically this chord is. It's quite a complicated sound, but it's really nice sounding on an acoustic guitar. That's the second chord, so we're going to the third chord I play is a very simple G shape, and this is one of the great things about DADGAD tuning. You get really nice, quite complicated or full sounding chords with relatively simple left hand fingerings, and this one is so simple. I use 3rd and 4th fingers, and I'm on the 5th fret from relative to the capo on the E string and the A string. And again, you're getting that nice A in there, so a sort of 9th sound into this chord. So even though I'm saying it's a G major, it's sort of got a 9th in, so a G9 if you like. And then it's back to your D. And that's just the verse, and lots of the chorus is also that shape as well. Now I'll show you this little sort of trick I'm doing on the G. So sometimes, not all the time, I will put my 2nd finger on the 4th fret of the D string to turn this into a G major 7 9, G9 major 7. Again, I don't know what the technical name for it is, but it's got a lovely sound to it. And you can play around with sliding around on that D string there with the 2nd and 4th frets, but you can just add that in, lift the finger off, and it's got a really nice sound on an acoustic guitar again. With my right hand, I'm doing a mixture of strumming and picking out the odd individual note and doing a little bit of sort of arpeggio work. I don't have a definite way that I do this. I do it just by feel really when I'm playing it. That is my way of playing. you might want to get more precise and nail down exactly how you want to play it and which notes you want to pick when. For me, I'm more of a spontaneous type player for this kind of a track, so I just kind of see where it takes me really. And one of the hammer-on things I do, I'll show you that now, just adds a bit of interest, and that is, so the second fret on the D string with first finger, hammer on, pull off, and then pull off with the first finger. So it's one pluck, but you get all those notes out of that one pluck. So I wouldn't do it all the time, but it just adds interest. And you can change the sort of feel of it as well, and make it sort of looser, or more sort of triplet feel. With that sort of second and fourth fret, you can also, in DADGAD tuning, translate that to the other strings as well. So that sounds quite difficult, but once you've got that basic technique, I played it awfully there by the way, but it repeats across all the strings and it fits in, and again adds interest. Don't want to overdo this one, but it is something you can throw in. So that's most of the stuff that I do on the verse, and the bit sort of leads into the chorus, the bridge section, if you like, is a B minor. So that is first fret on the first finger on the second fret, your A string, and then it's a kind of like a power chord shape there on those three strings. And again, you've got a sort of seventh type note in there. I think that's the seventh. Yeah, you've got a sort of B minor seventh that makes it. So again, a slightly more interesting chord version than just a straightforward major or minor chord, without having to do too much with the left hand fingering. And then you're back to a D, and then a G. That's the bridge section, and also the chorus has that bit in as well. Someone like you, know that I could use somebody. So that's in the chorus as well. The other section, to sort of middle eight, or I would suppose, is quite difficult to do. Depends where you play it on the neck, but it's simply a bar. I do it as a bar chord, so it's almost like an open D. So I guess it's an E. So that is a full bar across the strings on the second fret, third finger and second fret on the G string. So that is a straightforward sound. That's the I'm ready now bit. I'm ready now, I'm ready now, I'm ready now, I'm ready now. And then I'm moving that shape up to what is the 2, 4, 5, 6, 7th fret relative to the capo. And I actually can't bar the whole strings there. So this is one of these interesting things that just comes up with the guitar. It means I just bar the bass strings and leave those open because I can't finger them in any way, but actually gives you that nice again, suspended type feel to the chord sound. It can be a bit of a strain to play that bit. So you've got to just kind of work. I'm sort of using my second finger to help push down those strings, just because I've not got a lot of room up here, so I've not got a lot of sort of purchase on the strings to get them pressed down. So that can be a bit tricky. If you've got the kappa lower down, you won't have any issues with that. It'll be much easier to play. And if you've got the kappa higher up, it becomes impossible. You might have to play an alternative chord shape for that particular chord. And that leads you back into the chorus, and that's the whole song really. So I hope that helps. The only other thing to say is thanks for watching, and experiment and play around. If you want to do some finger picking, you can do that as well, or mixed thumb and strumming with the fingers works well. So yeah, have a play around with that, and hopefully you can enjoy playing another great cover version on your acoustic guitar. And I'll see you next time.